Okay, we are going to be graphing piecewise functions. We spent time evaluating, and this one is really about graphing. When you're evaluating, you have to look at which branch of the function the value fits into and put that value in for the independent variable. That's how you evaluate. When you graph, you have to look at each piece individually over the given interval or inequality. So if you're using a graphing calculator to graph, then you enter each branch of the function separately and make sure you put parentheses around the function and the inequality. So I'll show you how to do this, and then in Delta Math, you're going to be able to drag the lines to draw them. Okay, so here's the first one. We'll do a simple one. If you are going to pull out your graphing calculator, you're going to, under y sub 1, put 3 in, and then put parentheses around that function. And then you're going to do another set of parentheses and enter x less than 0. You go to second math to get the inequality symbols. So I'm going to enter it right now, and then you do second math, and it's going to be x less than. And remember to put the variable x in there, so x is less than 0. And then you're going to do under y sub 2, you're going to put in parentheses square root of x, and then x greater than or equal to 0, and then press graph, and it will graph those two pieces for you over those intervals. Okay, so for y equals 3, 1, 2, 3, for less than 0, that's going to just show up to the left. This part's going to be an open circle because it's not including 0. When you look at this inequality, it doesn't include 0. And then the square root function, that starts right here. It's going to look like that, and that does include 0, so that's going to be a closed circle. So if the graphs don't connect, you have to pay attention on whether the inequality is open or closed, and that'll tell you whether you have an open circle or a closed circle at the end point. Let's look at another one. We have y sub 1 being x squared, and then you're going to put in x greater than 0. That's a parabola, and it looks like this, but it doesn't include 0, so that's going to be an open circle there. Then you're going to do y sub 2, that's going to be x cubed, put that in parentheses, put everything in parentheses, and then x less than or equal to 0. Well, that actually is going to fill in this hole because x cubed looks like that. And so that's what your graph looks like, and it's a continuous graph, as opposed to the one before. That's not continuous because they don't match up. Okay, but then this one's continuous because they do match up. Then the next one, this is what it's going to look like in Delta Math, but I encourage you to use your graphing calculator to type these in. So I'm going to plug in negative 4x minus 4, and then I'm going to plug in the inequality x less than or equal to negative 2. Then I'm going to go to y sub 2, and I'm going to plug in negative 4, put parentheses around it, and then I'm going to plug in x greater than or equal to 4. And then press graph, and then see that I have a horizontal line for values greater than or equal to 4, and actually this is not long enough, so I need to extend this because negative 4 would be down here, but it doesn't start till here at 4, so that horizontal line is here, and then my other one starts at negative 2, and it's up here. They both have the values included, so they're both closed circles. Okay, so you'll be able to click and drag the line, and you'll be able to put in a closed circle or an open circle. It's going to take some practice. Let's look at another one. This has 3 branches, which is a bit trickier. When you enter it, you're going to have parentheses here and here. And then for this would be y sub 1. When you enter y sub 2, you're going to have parentheses around the 4. And then it's tricky when you have a double inequality. You cannot enter it just by putting parentheses around the whole inequality. You have to have 2 separate ones, x greater than negative 3, another set of parentheses, x less than or equal to 0. That's all going to be under y sub 2. And then y sub 3 is going to have the x plus 4 in parentheses, and then right next to it, x greater than 0 in parentheses. I'm not going to attempt to draw it right here because I think I would, it wouldn't look very well because of my drawing skills. But note that you're going to have a closed circle up here because of this less than or equal to -3. You're going to have a closed circle here at 0, and then an open circle at this bottom one because that's an open inequality. All right, this is going to take practice. So you're going to go to Delta Math, do the graphing piecewise functions, and do the best that you can. We are going to practice in class also. Okay, so what is the puzzle? It's just this right here. It's Robin Hood. Have you ever heard of that character? Okay, reach out if you have questions.